Putting God first can be difficult. What can we learn from Lucifer, who refused to put God first? Sometimes we wait until everything is perfect with our finances and our lives before we are faithful in our tithes and promise. We tell ourselves, if only the environment were right, I wouldn't struggle to put God first. If I were promoted, if interest rates were lower, if I felt closer to God. One of the most beautiful and powerful angels once lived in a perfect environment and saw God every day. This ideal setting didn't help him remain faithful. This is a decision each one of us must make in whatever circumstances we live through at each moment. Lucifer became too proud to put God first. His ego was too important for that. He wanted to become his own God, to make his own rules, to get the most out of life without God interfering in his freedom. Why should God get the best of his worship and his service? These motives are still at the root of our difficulty in putting God first when it comes to our tithes and promise. Our ego and our needs constantly try to get in the way. We think of ourselves and how much more we may need the money compared to the church. We argue, God doesn't need this money. The church has enough. On the one hand, this is correct. God and the church are not desperate for our money. But here's the thing. Our giving has little to do with need, and much more to do with spiritual virtues such as gratefulness, honesty, faithfulness, and submission to God and to His Word. God is God, and we are not. In part, God requires of us the tithe and regular offerings for our benefit. Our tithe and promise are a great antidote to greed and self-centeredness. On the other hand, they help us to direct our heart to heaven and on spiritual things. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, said Jesus. Waiting for the perfect set of circumstances is a sure way to avoid putting God first in our lives. God is calling on us to surrender our ego today and allow Him to open the floodgates of heaven with blessings. Lucifer refused to put God first. The consequences were terrible for him, as well as the angels and humans alike. God's love compels us to put His kingdom first, while Lucifer's example is a warning for us today. As we return our tithes and promise, we are challenged to put God first.